Once again, let's start by saying all praises to Yahweh, our shepherd, our God, and I want to the apostles and elders, greatness on the whole world, and shalom to the whole for them. I once again to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom, right? Servants of the Lord, the Hebrew Israelites, being sent out here to let it be known, right? What's going to happen in this last day? It's the prophecy inside the Bible, right? So right now, we're in 2022, right? 2020, the second version, as Eve said. That's what we hope. We hope this is, and we know it's going to be an extension of 2020, 2021. Yeah, but the extension of everything that happened before is going to continue. You know, all this kingdom is going to continue to put down to the end, basically, right? Because as it tells you in the book of Ephesians, the 6th chapter, it says Esau is the enemy and Jacob is the follower, right? So that's the Heavenly Father's word, right? And he said he put his word above his name. If you know anything about the name of the Lord down in Egypt, when the children of Israel came out, all the nations knew the name of the Most High Power, right? They understood that. Oh, that ain't a power to play with, okay? And in this time, we set through prophecy, right? The testimony of Yahweh is the spirit of prophecy, which really comes in the form of his son, right? All the abundance of prophecy set forth. Those things are going to come to pass, surely, to back up everything that the Most High is. So we're set to see great things, right, done upon the earth, a time like never seen before, right? And we see dealing with this noble, all right, this as I said, the sea. What you're seeing happening is continue to snowball into various different things, right? And they're saying it could be a concept, zombies, walking dead, basically. All these different types of things that happen, right? And that's what they're seeing on the carnal side of things, the left-hand side. So let's see, man, right? Both sides are going to turn it up, and it's going to get crazy out there. You know what I'm saying?
Isaiah 24:2, and it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury. The land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken his word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish. Yeah, like everything's fading, languishing away. And that you can see the whole spirit of you know, it meant to be a new year, it meant to be like, oh, you know, having hope. At least when people were going in from 2020 to 2021, people still had some kind of hope up until the first day, and then they're like, nah, it's done, it's a wrap. They realized they were in for more of the same, and it's the same thing with this year, man. All those hopes and dreams of everything basically working out, everything returning back to the fun, peaceful times, the pre-2020 lifestyle. Hey, that's just gone, because all you're having is, and the thing is as well, is all these issues are compounded. These things all have been there, waiting in the wings, man.
These are the cracks in the seams of this world, basically. And they're being exposed. Pressure, they're caving under the pressure.
Yeah, because hey, the big one is this whole monetary system, bro. Back in 2008, that should have happened. It's still not been recovered from. I was watching a video. A guy was saying like he's going into it, breaking it down. Then he said like now the same problem of getting low quality mortgages and then compounding them together and selling them as high quality mortgages. That still gets done. It's just got a whole different name and a whole different scheme of how it's done. So it's like the same issues, they're all still there. The system, the foundations of it are unsure. And that's a lot of things. The whole system, this whole rulership, everything about it, the foundations are unsure. It's got those, cracked foundations. And the main thing is what? It's Esau. Like the brother mentioned, Esau's the end of the world. As far as for this, it's like, unless this is the kingdom of heaven, you can't be chilling in this place expecting it to continue for all time.
Let me quickly read this to back and point out. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, the soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, but enlargeth his desire is hell, and is as death. Alright, and that brings me back to when Jacob and Esau and Jacob were distinguished, right, which is two, the left-hand side of the Most High and the right-hand side of the Most High power. When they were distinguished, Jacob was known as a plain man dwelling in tents, right? He was happy to stay in his abode, whereas Esau was a man of the field. He went outside and was trying to find different things. Two contrasting personalities, right? So it says, he enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Alright? That's the point. Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that laid himself with thick clay. The word there for thick clay is ibatya, which means debt, right? And this man is indebted himself to many things. One of the things that comes to mind as well is dealing with Joel, the 3rd chapter, where it says, let the weak say I am strong. Because it says they'll take up the tool. How long? Because why? The weak were the nation that Esau took advantage of, right? And sucked them for all their riches. But now they become strong, right? They now have the same capabilities that Esau once had, that had upper hand over them. They have the same might now, right? And that's why that tool problem is coming to a point where it's going to be basically rent due now, right? And they're going to have to pay the price.
Back in Isaiah 24, Isaiah 24 and 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Hey, that's something that's plain. The earth has been completely destroyed, completely worn out. All the resources are being robbed from it. All the uses it's meant to have, the way you're meant to deal with it. For example, like the land Sabbath, these things are not being dealt with, man. Esau's basically utilized through fertilizers, through pesticides and all these different things. He's basically able to make like Frankenstein's monster versions of crops. So basically, they'll continue to bear fruit. But then what is this? As far as for the reason why they'll wither, it's because there's no nutrients, man. There's no goodness in it. There's nothing that you're gaining from it. The nutrients are in the earth. As such, then what? It's like why what you're meant to be gaining from it, you're not getting. And that's a lot of the food that's on the earth right now. But then what? It says what? Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Changed the ordinance. One of the big ordinances that was changed was the beginning of the new year. Right? When you go to the book of Exodus, the Heavenly Father distinguished what the new year would be. Right? Being that of the time of spring. Right? And when you actually go into the new year, right, it actually breaks it down. I mean, when you look into the history of the new year, when you go into the history of the new year, what you find is that springtime for the most part was actually when the new year began, right? But then after Esau Edom, right, it's been changed, going back to the Roman rulership, okay? We had the Julian calendar come into effect. They said they had to put 90 extra days into the year for the sake of balancing everything out, right? So this man basically just is about confusion. As it tells you in the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, about the serpent shall eat dust. And that's basically what Esau is about. And that curse has followed him in every sense since basically had any walking upon the earth, right? Confusion. And that's why he's changed the ordinance. Here it is where we're dead in the middle of winter, right? And you just had the new year begin.
One,
and the new year's
one cold, miserable day, followed by another cold, miserable day, and then that's meant to be, the year's to rejuvenate. It made no sense.
Whereas when you deal with the law, statutes, commandments of the Heavenly Father, the new year begins with the rejuvenation of the earth after everything that died. Even it's funny because the plants, right? Like all the trees, all their fruits, there's certain trees that still reap, like blossom and bear fruit, right? But what you notice is because of all the leaves withering and all the fruit falling from the sky, all of the things that were there the season before, basically before you got leaves around us, you see them brown, right? It's like they're beautiful in colours. So if you know anything about this, is kind of stuff they use in fashion, right? Muted colours, they call them like it's the spring, not spring, autumn winter collection, and they usually have like muted colours like muted red, which would basically be not mahogany, maroon. Then you have like muted yellow, which would kind of be like it's like a beige. It's basically the colours that you find when you go out on the street and you see these fruits from the season. They're dead basically. Their colours have been removed from them. The life force that was in them is dead. But are you going to say this is the new time of the year? No. The new year is meant to present a new growth in the land, new growth, new beginning, right? All of that kind of stuff. But guess what? This kingdom don't happen, alright? Because as the brother already changed the ordinance, right?
So verse 5 again, Isaiah 24:5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore have the curse devoured was broken the everlasting covenant. Esau took that covenant on himself. When he set up his land, when he came up and out of the caves, came up and took over Europe, set up America, he set up, it was all being dealt with under the Bible, man, under the scriptures. And as such, then it's basically taking the punishment for not dealing with it upon yourself, man.
And that's why when you go into the book of Amos, the 3rd chapter, 3:1 and 2, what does it say? It says, of the children of Israel, only you have known, therefore will I punish you for all your iniquities, right? Because the Heavenly Father knew us by what? By the laws, statutes, commandments, covenant that we went into, that Moses established between, we went under the blood of the covenant, Exodus 24th chapter. Now, by being under that covenant, we basically, all the Deuteronomy 28, the breakdown of all the blessings that fall upon us, we'll basically be blessed by all of that. But at the same time, if we don't follow the words of the Heavenly Father, guess what? We'll have a curse that fall upon us. That's why Esau, we basically got set up by the Heavenly Father by taking on those law, statutes, and commandments. And all the curses in him not following it, now going to fall upon him. Right?
Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Yeah, so the end result of dealing with basically thinking you can play with it how you desire. And that's really Esau's, his pride, his hubris. He basically thinks he can just come and engage with it on a certain level and then just be like, okay, yeah, I'm done with that, and chuck it out. And then same thing for his kingdom. He basically thinks he can have Like he's had the allotted time for his rule. This guy's trying to outdo it and have it in perpetuity for himself. But just as with, hey, Jake going down, man. When Jeremiah was saying like, yo, you guys gonna get absolutely torn up, man. They were like, what, by these heathens? Nah, fam, ain't gonna happen. That certainly happened. Just like with Esau coming out of the cave. That had to happen. It was prophesied. And it said what it won't, the end won't come unless there be that falling away first. There was a vessel needed to go down. The word's gone out. So hey, the Most High is bound by that word. Those things need to be fulfilled. And that's what we're in the midst of, the word being fulfilled. You can see. Right now, the heathen have returned and built up the desolate places. There's a construction site right there where a desolate place is being built up. To this day, Esau's still built up desolate places. But then what's the end result going to be? Hey,
you shall build and I shall throw down.
Yeah.
As tells you Malachi.
Because well, therefore if the curse devoured the whole earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate, therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. Yeah, all that joy, bliss, people that were out partying non-stop, back to back, having the time of their lives, that shit's done out.
Hey, as you said, the earth languisheth. The Lord also prophesied that the waters of music shall be brought low. Alright, and it's been brought low because the quality of music right in this generation is pitiful, man. Right, when you compare to, I'm trying to remember, there was actually a live performance that I watched. Actually, it was I saw a clip on Instagram where they had like the 10 best performances. It's like one of these nostalgia kind of pages. So the best 10 best performances of the Apollo Theatre, right? And even the Apollo Theatre, that used to be, I know you remember it, it used to be the place like that. We understood as well over here that if you perform the Apollo's like, that's like the apex of black culture, being Harlem, being Jerusalem, and this time that we live in, alright? But basically the 90s was the last hurrah. They were showing some singers, man. And Lord willing, if the spirit wills, maybe I'll do a video on it with the clips or whatever. We had like Mint Condition, we had Long Fingers Case, Carl Thomas, I believe, a couple singers, and they were really, I know hearing some notes, man, right? They were singing, but in this generation, you don't have that. R&B's dead, alright? Rap music ain't even what it used to be, alright? So everything has been taken away, but also that being brought low is because the entertainment industry is being brought low. And that's why it also says, this is other scripture I was going to tie into it, about doors of music being brought low. It's in Matthew 24. It's escaped me. If I remember, I'll speak on it. But basically everything in this kingdom is just deteriorating, right? It's circling the drain. So that's how you know we're in a time of the end, right? This direction. So it might be better.
Okay. 1 second.
It ain't like
Oh, it
even in
says.
the corner. If you stand there, you can feel the wind coming around the corner.
Okay,
Feel it.
Okay. Yeah. That's noticeably bad. Alright.
Put a bit more in the corner.
That's about as far as it's gonna go. Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, my bad.
Check the battery on this actually.
Yeah.
That this precept, Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing that thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee. And that's what Esau's done. He utilized the scriptures as well. He utilized the scriptures whilst when he was getting all up in the Roman Catholic Church. Even to this day, he still has the whole church system where it's complete and total confusion. These guys have no understanding of prophecy, don't know anything about the scriptures, they don't know about Yahushua, they don't know about who the true people are, they don't know who salvation is for. These things are all mysteries. You ask the average churchgoer, they're not going to have a clue what's going on. But that's used what? As a form of confusion, man? To keep people in a low state, man. And to keep, and actually, they don't even read the scriptures. But what? It's just because you what do you call it? You've done away with the scriptures. That don't mean you're still not going to bear the judgment upon yourself, man. Back in Isaiah 24 and 7, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the heart ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them. Yeah, they're going to drink that wine with a song. Ooh, like now, the whole form of bliss. So I was talking to some customers after New Year's, and they're saying like, yeah, there weren't really as many people out. They were saying like, oh, all the bars and clubs weren't really filled up. There was more people kind of at home doing little get-togethers there.
And that's why I was reminded me, because I went out grabbed the bite to eat yesterday. I went to the same place on New Year's Eve as well. Was it New Year's Eve? I think I went New Year's Eve. So I spoke to him. I know Boss Man. You know, it makes you think of because I only remember J Space track. I saw the man the other day. Boss Man, Turkish. He said,
Oh yeah.
Because I listened to the tune the other day. I'm talking about that. Yeah, so I was speaking to the guy, and basically what happened was he said, yeah, so it's not the same. He said, this thing has changed everything forever. That's what he said. Is that everyone knows the spirit in the air is that life is never going to be the same.
It's not going to return.
It's like they know they're in I can't remember who else I was listening to. They said they're in a horror movie. Need a battery. Yeah, so basically he said like everyone knows, man. Saying we're in a horror movie. That was Uncle Murder actually. That's it. I listened to a 2021 rapper. So it's like everyone knows the spirit of this place, and it's fucking beautiful, man. It's an amazing time, man. Because everything we've been speaking on is coming to pass in these last days, man. And these people are going to be judged accordingly, right? It's being known, they know science, right? But still they're going forward and saying, what can you do? They're not even seeking after the Heavenly Father.
They've put the utmost faith into Esau, man. Esau, Edom. That's where they're looking at for salvation. Even though he's the one bringing your doom. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, and no man may come in. City of confusion broken down. Because that's the thing, is as far as for this whole society, confusion's been the thing that's brought everyone together, man. This place has been built off complete and total confusion and mess. As such, that's why it's like now, what people have no fucking clue what the hell's going on. People all in a complete mess anyway.
Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of thy times and the strength of thy salvation. Alright? A lot of people are not stable in these times because they don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this book. Alright? But then they don't even understand that they need to be saved. In fact, they don't want to be saved. Because this is as good as it gets for them. Right? And that's really going to lead to their downfall. Woe to you that go down to Egypt and for strength.
Trust in chariots because they're strong.
That's it.
Basically, trust, look into Esau, man. And that's, it's the same spirit. That's why this place is the rebirth of Egypt, of Babylon, of all these former kingdoms that have come around. It's them all coming back again. It's an amalgamation, man. It's that whole, it's all just clumped together into one. Because why? That's the same spirit of how everyone's hearkening onto it. It's the same thing. Just like you had when Nebuchadnezzar was saying what you have to come and reverence and bow down. Whenever you hear the sound of the different instruments, they have to come to his statue and bow down. That's the same spirit I have. Whenever all people all coming to America, they all awe and reverence Esau's society, man. Esau's kingdom, Esau's rulership. All these things are basically being, people are marveling, man. People are in love. People think, oh, this is the greatest place on the planet Earth. Worshiping this place, man. Because why? It's that same spirit. Same with Egypt. Where it's like, yo, Jake had that love affair with Egypt. They didn't want to let it go. They're like, oh, you brought us out to the wilderness to kill us. Man, it's just completely bugged. But why? Because, hey, it's a stumbling block, man. And it's really for those that aren't the elect. For the people in the world, they're just going to go, for the heathen, so they're just going to go along with whatever. They're like extra. They're back. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But then, hey, for Jake, you have the most reason to have no desire whatsoever to go along with Esau either, man, or any of the society.
But as it tells you in the Book of Lamentations, man, they love these heathens. They're their lovers. And the Lord turned them over to them to show them that they don't really love you the way the Heavenly Father loves you. Right? And that's why in the book of Hosea, the Lord goes in, Heavenly Father goes into it, man, about Hosea, take unto yourself a wife of harlots, right, a lover of many men, basically. And the lesson is learned that basically, yo, these nations don't love you. Because even I talk to the son Jake, I talk to him in the world, and some of the things I heard him say, like the love, the affinity, the desire toward the heathen is amazing. The worst, well, not the worst, but one of the ones I always hear of is dealing with, because I had this experience recently. You have like someone from, Ghana, Nigeria, or something like that, west coast of Africa, and they'll be like, oh, these North Africans, they don't like us. These East Africans, they don't like us. The South, they don't like us. And it's like, nigga, if someone don't like you, why do you desire to make them like you? They'll be like, oh, Africa is so structured. Hey, that ain't what it's meant to be. But guess what? They desire love. They're talking to them, trying to get some form of in with them. And it's like, bro, you should understand they don't like you, man. Right? That's because every father set up us where these niggas have a great desire to release these nations.
That's it. It's that same downfall. Now is a time where if you're basically going to be going hand in hand with the heathen, you're going to be like cleaving onto your house, cleaving onto the scriptures, cleaving onto this truth. Then hey, you're gonna get the bed that you've set up, man. The bed you've made, you're gonna lie in it, man. And you're gonna be like, it's gonna be real hot. It's gonna have lots of missiles. It's gonna have the view's gonna be terrible. But hey, look, man, that's really what it is. Because as far as this time and again, having a love affair with a heathen is resulted in destruction. JK, you know, if at this point, as clear as things have come and made now, it's like, yo, this thing's it's done, man. It's the year of Yahweh Shai showing up. That's it's turning up, man. That's the year. It's the year where this gets wrapped up. If in the midst of that you're still like, oh, okay, yeah, let's try and you know, try to make things. I'm like, bro, you don't see what's going on, man. But that's the thing. It's like, it's funny. It's been hilarious. Because as far as the markets, the financial markets, from like the second the first lockdown happened onwards, it should have been like, yo, what the fuck's going on? How are the markets doing way better than ever? Like all-time highs when there's no business happening. But why? It's because the Fed has basically been pumping money. They said, like, I think a week or 2 weeks back, they're going to slow that down. Actually, they mentioned it a while back, but they brought up again that they're going to slow down their aid going into this year. And that's when all this is going to be felt. Because now everything's inflated as fuck. A lot of places are shutting down. I can't remember what road I was going. It's even up here when I was coming down from around Holborn, the strip down Holborn. A lot of those places are closed. Down, yeah. They ain't reopened. There used to be hella restaurants, hella shops. One of the ones down there, like
that's like Holborn down to Strand.
Yeah,
that's the road.
And it's like, yeah, and all the hella places died.
Yeah, I know that.
Whole restaurant areas, you just go there, it's done. A lot of them, and some of them were big chains. It's like this chains. A lot of the Italian ones, a lot of the Spanish ones, like they were basically just about getting by. Then the combination of Brexit and this thing, it's all done. It says what? Verse 11. There is crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. In the city is left desolation. The gate is smitten with destruction. Yeah, everything's desolate. Everything's been done. It's gone to waste, man. It's run. Like the whole, it genuinely looks like when you see those post-apocalyptic areas where have like everything boarded up, everything shut, no one's there. That's what's happening. And hey, it's spreading. Because as far as a big part of why things are running is artificial, man. It's been propped up. Once that's done, or they just say, oh look, you're gonna have to deal with this charagma system. You're gonna have to latch onto certain aspects of this to maintain yourself. Because they normalized as well with what's it called, man? With furlough, the furlough system. That whole basically just hanging on the tit of the government. So if they're just like, yo, they're saying, okay, look, all these now we're gonna do that again, but for you to get it, you're gonna have to deal with this charagma. You got something?
Ecclesiastes 7:2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Right? So the living. So it's better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. Now, even when you deal with a lot of people, when you deal with human nature and the way people deal with like hard time, depression, and all these kind of things, they tend to be what? Comfort eat. Oh wow, or comfort eat fits perfectly into feasting, the house of feasting. They desire a way to make themselves feel better. That's why people eat for comfort, right? But then guess what happens in return? As the word said, it said it's better to go to the house of mourning rather than the house of feasting. So it's better to actually deal with what it is directly, man. That look, and really ultimately, what does that mean? As being an Israelite in this time, it's better to go to the house of mourning and basically say like, look, all right, this is what's being presented before us, and that's how we gotta deal with it. You know? How you doing, bro?
I got one question still. Like all these YouTubers and that, yeah?
Yeah.
What part, like, what part do they go?
What part?
Yeah.
YouTubers, what kind of YouTubers?
Alright, do you know all them people here that go like go around the town and that, yeah, and they start with a microphone and people do like freestyle and that?
Oh, well, like backlife and that?
Yeah.
I don't even know, you know. But
Might
they're up
be-
and
might
down.
be St. James. Either St. James or even Hyde Park.
Where is that?
From here.
You wanna go?
I think you go for, yeah, just keep going straight. Follow the ribbon, keep going straight. Go to St. James. St. James,
What's
yeah,
down
never
this
saw
way?
it.
Now you're going away from everything. You go down there, you're going towards Black Friday.
That's really good sense.
You go there, that's more central.
It's gonna be,
Yeah, everyone goes St. James or they go Hyde Park. If you go up there, they probably have someone tell you. Alright, man, easy though, yeah. That's one of the brothers in another flesh, man.
said, freestyle, hey, that spirit,
Hey, and that's this new generation. Right, like you got these drillers, dominating.
men trying to get some fame. That is that same spirit.
Yeah.
That same, just like men are looking to find some form of love, man.
Yeah. I'll bring that out later. But again, I've got the scripture I mentioned. It's not there's one in Lamentations, but there's another one in Jeremiah. It says in a couple of places. But let me read this again. Ecclesiastes. There's Ecclesiastes 7 and 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Yeah, so go to the house of feasting, comfort, eating, all that type of stuff, enjoyment. But rather it's better to go to the house of mourning, and it says the living will lay it to heart. Alright? And that brings to mind the scripture I keep saying, man. He that seeks to loses life shall save it. And he that seeks to save his life shall lose it. Right? Because what? You have to get, you know, who went into it? He said, I count everything I've done to win Yahweh Shai. So it's all about living through Yahweh Shai, making your body a living sacrifice, as he tells you in Romans 12. Right? But that's only sign that the living shall lay to heart. Because what? Proverbs 21 and 16, it tells you about the valley of dry bones in Ezekiel, alright? The 37th chapter within Ezekiel, alright? That basically you have Israel, the dry bones, alright? But you have those that basically, and that's when you walk out the way of understanding, you belong where? In the congregation of the dead, alright? So when you come out of that, you have understanding, you're going to lay all these things to heart. You're going to be in a state of mourning. Verse 3 says, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. Right? The mind is made better. That's why I told you in the Apocrypha that basically a wise man scarcely will smile. Alright? Scarcely. It says, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. And that's where most of these people right now are in that presence of mind, right? To basically enjoy everything, and by any means necessary, establish that, you know, I can live, I can enjoy life. All right. Here you go.
Hosea 8 and 8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. That's really Jacob, man. Jacob really out here. They're a residue, man. They're leftover.
What did you read? Hosea 8. And those vessels are the same vessels that we saw in his vision, man. When he saw the vessel coming down to him in the form of sheep, saying, arise ye and eat. Those vessels in the Israelites are sucked into other nations and basically became a vessel of dishonor by being cut off from their heavenly Father, discontinued from their heritage, and basically going off to the way of the heathen. Alright? Actually, let me read this now and you hold that up. Let me back up that point. It's the book of Jeremiah 30 and 11. For I am with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. Right? Israel, you know, the Lord said, I believe in this the same chapter actually, or the chapter after. The Lord says that as the host of heaven is, so will Israel always be before me, basically. Alright? But I will correct thee in measure, So the Lord said he would chastise you as your father and set you in correction. Okay? And will not leave thee altogether unpunished. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines, right? All thy lovers have forgotten thee, they seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with a chastisement of a cruel one. For the multitude of thine iniquities, because thy sins are increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquities, because thy sins are increased. I have done these things unto thee. Right? The main point being that lovers have forgotten you. Right? All these other nations see the advantage that you have, see the godliness within you, and they basically see that they can have some gain from you. Right? Dealing with a psalm that comes to mind, by the river of Babylon, when we first wept, when we remembered Zion. There we hang, it goes into it, man. And basically they desired a song from us. And they said, how can we sing these songs when we're not on the land? Right? So they basically, these nations, they enjoy us being the salt of the earth. They take pleasure in it. And that's the only way they have some form of love towards us. Alright? Aside from that, there's nothing to, they don't want you. Hey, that movie Blood and Bone with Michael J. White, when he was fighting the elite dude, and the elite was like, oh, we just want you for entertainment, man. We don't desire you for anything else. We don't want you for entertainment. But yeah, so that's really it. Israel's always had a love affair with these heathen nations, but in reality, they don't give two shits about you, man. You may be able to take you down.
Yeah, for real. Revelation just on everyone kind of, desiring something from America. From the system. Everyone's getting a pledge because they're looking to get something. Revelation 18 and 2, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. That's a big part of everyone else in the world. Everyone's basically latched onto the system, man. They're all getting gain from it. They're all getting good from it. And that's the thing is, as far as for Jake has never been a nation where... Jake's never been a nation where it's been to their advantage to adhere to other kingdoms, other rulerships, other systems. Because why? It's as far as for Jake, for them to get blessed, for them to be to be able to do well, they have to keep to the laws, man. They have to deal with Yahweh Shem Shai. They gotta deal with the truth. And then going out of that, that's where failure lies. That's why, as far as for the heathen, they're gonna get the increase. Why? These guys are all in concept together, man. They're all working together. They're all got the same objective, man.
And it's their time. It's the time of the heathen. It's time for them to increase and enjoy. But it's time for our punishment. And Malachi, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him. Right? Jacob doing anything in their power to so-called establish himself at this time, but this is the time of your punishment.
Yeah.
And hey, as such, that's why it's hey, it don't work out for Jake, man, and it's not going to. The only way it can work out is latching onto this truth. It says what, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchant, and that as well. It's everyone else is taking on all these bugged out philosophies, man. The whole bugged out way of life. That's why everyone's getting the same punishment, man. The same judgment is coming upon them. Everyone was enjoying the fruits when America was on the top. When, hey, these guys went round, conquered the whole earth, everyone seems to have forgotten. And they basically jacked up everyone's whole way of they were dealing with things on earth. And he basically established his rulership system. And now it's like, what? Everyone's following after it, everyone's wandering after it. Because now they're getting the good from it. But hey, it's only going to run so far. When that kingdom falls, when that system of rule falls, it's going to be the same thing. Everyone else is going to go down with it. Read this. Isaiah 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. There's everyone basically is gonna be scarpering. And you had that. It's funny with the whole Brexit situation over here. Yeah, hella people just go back. That's why a lot of these European, like French, German, Spanish, Italian, a lot of these companies are basically, well, businesses are just done. They will say, yo, wrap it up, it's done. Because they're not able to, a lot of them, they'll just like have people come over, they're French, have them work there, pay them like peanuts, yeah. Because as well, it's like, yeah, because back in their country, she ain't going too well. A lot of these more affluent businesses, they've moved to, some of them moved to Ireland, some of them moved to Germany. Because why? They're doing better off than over here. But they're still able to make use of all of that whole European system.
And that's why I know a lot of like individuals I know going back to Italy, going back to France, Spain as well. So guess what? They ain't looking to come back. Especially with this thing that's going on right now. That's the other element as well. They want to be around their family.
Yeah.
So they find out this one's dying, that one's dying. Even the individual I spoke to yesterday, he told me his sister died or something like that. She left, said she was fit, 40 years old, and she lost. There's 4 children she left behind. I just kind of fucked up. Because one of them guys, like, kind of cool, you know. I go there so much, he kind of shows me love. He said, oh, you look like Sterling K. Brown, I think his name is. Everyone always says that. The actor, I don't know if you know him, I'll show you a picture. He said, oh, you look like this guy. And I was like, oh, yeah, everyone says that. But, yeah, I felt kind of bad. But I said, but in my mind, I was like, boy, this is the time for us. Yeah? And then even I was speaking to our mother, and she's a character, man. It's like, yeah, man, everyone's getting ill. And then everyone that took the vaccine. And I didn't even know she told me. So it's just like, you know, this is what's going on. Everyone is basically, you know, once you're in, you're locked in now. That's what Esau's done. You've been locked in. And you don't know, hey, man, the Lord's going to get you, man. Because you don't know that your power is the Heavenly Father. And you made a choice. And the thing, the ease of mind makes you think that, well, I did it already, I might as well carry it.
Yeah, that's where the corruption comes in. It's funny because it's like, it's the same thing they say in the Matrix, and I believe the second one, where it says, that even if you don't know you made the choice, it's on a subconscious level. Like you make the choice to whether you stay in the Matrix or you want to break out. That's the same thing. It's like you basically taking that, taking the maps, that's already like you basically showing yourself there. Like you're basically gonna comply. You're gonna take whatever comes down. That's why they already done it. They said, oh, you got the first two, then now you got the booster, and it's like, oh, in the state of Israel, they're sitting down the fourth. So that's like, that means anything that comes down the pipeline, you're open to it.
Let me break the flow with the scripture, and I'll go on going to say. So it's the book of Revelation 20 and 1, and it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. Alright, this is talking about Esau Edom, which today is known as the so-called white man. Alright, the Bible said that you have a time where he ruled again. Alright, we're in presently in that time. That old serpent, who's the old serpent? Going back to the time of the garden. Right, because that's the same spirit that's been coming around a certain key period when the time of evil was allowed to make one riot. Right? So it says, and he laid hold on that dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, right? Being the Caucasus Mountains, dealing with the time of Job 30 being prophesied at that time, where Esau made the basis of men, right? In order for that, the book of Daniel to lie, right? The Lord giving the rulership to the basis of men. Alright, because it said they prayed among the bush, the manner prayed, escape me right now. But they basically is animals grunting amongst themselves. Alright? So that's when they'll shut up for 1,000 years. That's the point. And cast him in the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after, he must be loose a little season. And right now, when that little season is affected, which a lot of people are taking hold to, they're being deceived. And this brings me to the other point. Hey, when I was at the plantation, everyone's a conspiracy theorist now, quote unquote. Alright? Well, a lot of people are more in tune with what's going on in society. And I spoke to this Elamite dude, and he was basically saying how we've been vaccinated, but he said he didn't want it, but he said they got us right when we need us. He said my father-in-law or something like that was dying in Pakistan or something like that, so I had to go fly out there and see it. And he said like even if unless you're just gonna stay in this mix and just stay, what he say, the hamster on the wheel, then you can kind of maneuver out the way of it. But if you gotta do stuff, you gotta see family or whatever, and you gotta make dues, and it kind of made me think, because you got family in different countries or whatever, and you might have to see them because they pass into the next dimension or something like that. You gotta go over there, help bury them, whatever. Hey, that's gonna mean that you need to take the vaccination, or you gotta risk it all and get the fake one. When I say the fake one, the little ID thing, and basically trying to make a way to go over there. So they're really going on, a red naked choke on this, man, and there ain't no way of getting out unless you're the elect, man. They're the only ones that are going to be saved out of these judgments that are set to come upon the earth.
Matthew 8 and 18. Now when Yahushua saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I'll follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahushua said unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Yahushua said unto him, follow me, and let the dead bury their dead. Hey, so it's cold. That's the thing is, now is the time. Hey, this is a time of the utmost import, man. This is a time that's been prophesied of and spoken of countless, innumerable times, man. And it's one of the most dangerous, deadliest times to be around, man. As such. It's like that's why it's like all of that whole spirit, like being like, oh, let me go. You need to put Gramps. Gramps is about to pass on. I need to go say my goodbyes, and shed some tears at his bedside. Hey, now's not the time. Because as far as it's like you could, like another brother said, for you to go and do that, you're gonna have to engage with the Mets. And then even then, it's like in America, there was one girl I worked with. She flew over to America, and then to come back, there was hella flights were being cancelled. So it's like you can get caught out there. I remember the first lockdown, my landlady, she got caught out in Egypt. She was out in Egypt, she was all kinds of fruit. It was in Egypt for months, like at least 3-4 months. She was just there. She couldn't get back. There was no flights. It was done. So that's like if you get
You don't want to swim?
yeah. Should have used one of the pyramids.
Yeah.
Like one of the mummies.
What's the Stargate?
Yeah. But hey, that's why it's like, it's why it's that time where hey, shit's gonna move fast and it's gonna be peak. Because you come back, there's times as well where it's like you fly back. They'll say the only way you're getting in the country is to take it right now. Yeah. That's happened in Ghana. The whole letter they put on Twitter when they're saying like, yo, come back in. The only way you're getting back in is if you take it. And there's hella places you can do that. That's, hey, it shows the time.
You finishing that one?
Yeah.
Okay. 2nd Ezra 16 and 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Right? 'Cause guess what? We're in a time of war, man. Alright? That's why it tells you in the book of Sirach, right? Never trust thy enemy, for as iron rusteth, so doth his wickedness. Alright? We're basically locked in with our enemies right now in a battle for our souls. Right? This man has the advantage over us. We've got to do everything within our power to basically fight against him. What's really in our power?
Over there. The tide's gone down and got time for hell of it. Well, yeah, you're back up. If you can't swim.
Boy, the Lord is trying to touch people right.
Yeah.
So this hey, we're in the midst of a battle. That's why the Book of Timothy said
that kid was caught out.
Satan was
Yeah. You can say
whatever it is, it's cool right now. Soaking.
Bro, you could have been there, man.
Innit? But basically you had hey, that's why in Timothy who wrote it, man, alright, about good soldier. How's it going, man? Great idea.
Stop breaking.
Right, great this way. The clouds are there.
Need the battery attack in like, what, 10 minutes or something?
My battery's still low. Huh?
Well, I already gave you the
Oh yeah.
the backup.
Let me read this while you hold me. This is 2 Timothy 2:3. It says, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach." Alright? Now, I endure hardness. Endure means to what? Make hard. Right? So we gotta endure the hard, as a good soldier, we gotta go through the warfare. It says, "No man of war entangleth himself in the affairs of this life." And good clip, Baruch, before, where I remember on his channel, alright? He basically had the clip with had Chris Tucker in Vietnam basically showing a picture of his old lady. Lorenz Tate's character basically said, man, I don't remember none of that shit. While we're over here, we need to survive this place. And lo and behold, Chris Tucker died out there, and Lorenz survived to go home to a miserable piece of shit country, man. And deal with all form of hell over there. So it says, no man at work entangles himself in the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. So in order for us to please, alright, Heavenly Father, the Lord of hosts, right, we have to, you know, put everything aside in order to go out there and battle. And what's our weapons of warfare? It tells you in the Book of Ephesians, right? And as well as 2 Corinthians 10 goes into it. Weapons of warfare is carnal. Right? And it says, and if any man strive for mastery, yet is he not proud, he said to strive lawfully. So you gotta do it the right way. Alright? Let me finish your second interest. There's the book of 2nd Esdras 16 and 14. Second Esdras 16 and 40. It says, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils even be as pilgrims upon the earth." Yeah, pilgrims, man. Like our forefathers. When you go to the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter, it talks about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the patriarchs, who basically became pilgrims upon the earth because they seek the kingdom to come. Right? It says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. Alright? He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as he that shall not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather grapes. They that marry as they that shall not get no children, and they that marry not as widowers. And therefore shall they that labor in vain. So right now, the labor that we're laboring, we have to look at it like a vanity, right? Long we're waiting for the Lord to make his arrival back on earth. And that's the way we've got to look at it. The Lord is making his arrival very soon. But when he makes his comeback,
Let me take the... What? Which one? Down there?
Maybe it's the same.
Yeah, it's like it's coming straight down, so it's just kind of ain't really much to be done. One sec. Okay.
So,
just plug it in. Cool. So let's hold it.
this wind is so elusive.
Yeah, it was chilling for a while. It just came out of nowhere.
But it's like, you know, you got to readjust.
Yeah. Sirach 2 and 2 and 1. So like, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. yeah, it's about, hey, this is a time of that temptation being at its height, because really that's what the max is, man. That's what it really is. It's that temptation. Because as far as it's like, if you're not taking it, everyone at every turn is looking at you like the pressure's being applied, man. They're like every ill in society is now being blamed on, people that ain't got down with it. And it's like, oh, you're being so selfish, blah blah. I'm like, bro, what the fuck you talk? Like, that shit come out of nowhere. But why? It's because everyone's all in accord, man. They're all in that same spirit. That from 2020, these guys have been getting drop kicked. These guys have been getting uppercutted. They've been getting winded. They've been getting suplexed. They're getting suplexed through the ceiling by the Green Goblin. That's what that's what they've been getting from the year, man. They thought, 2021 it's gonna be fine. We got the max. Everything's going back to normal. Then they got suplexed further, man. Then the fucking glider just came in and shanked them in the ribs, man. Like they were done out. That's why now everyone's just like, look, just do whatever, because they already accepted it, man. They already took whatever. They're just like, yo, just anything they offer, take it, enjoy life. It's bruv. This as well with these test shit is a whack. It's the biggest racket ever.
Yeah.
Man said if you're gonna travel, the NHS one that you get for free doesn't apply. You have to buy tests from certain companies that are gonna be viable. Different tests are viable in different countries.
They lobbied for that.
I'm like, I don't make no, what the like, if you're talking about safety, where the fuck, what's the safety in that?
But this is the thing, people don't, you know what people say about that? We need to make more money. They're not even contending the same way. Hold on, is this about safety? No, it's about money, right? And that's what's really gonna drive people to the point of the end of their tether, basically. Where they're gonna just basically, hey man, this as the previous year we just had, there's gonna be an abundance of death and a lot more people falling to the wayside, man.
Yeah, what's her name? When Betty White died, everyone was, crying and lamenting. I'm like, bro, Pass was 99, man. She was beyond expiry from date. And that's the thing as well. It's like, this is how disconnected people are from the concept of people moving on, man. People passing on. Like, bro, that shit just happened. Like, it's the wages of sin is death, bro. Like, people are eating all that. Man will have a bacon sarnie on his hospital bed. Man will be in hospital, be getting a fucking English breakfast with pork sausages and bacon.
And a black pudding as well, man.
And a black puds. And then behave
Basically pig fat. I mean, it's like pig
blood.
blood.
Yeah. And that's the thing. But then what, be a marvel when they drop dead. I'm like, yo, that's how the Lord has things go down. And that's why it's like, now everyone's realizing they're not all invincible gods. So, now they're terrified. They've gone from the complete other end of feeling invincible to now, the more, like, they can go to harm. They realize crossing the road that they are actually at risk of getting run over by a car.
Things that we've been acquainted with for quite
For the longest.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, it's like, even I remember you see people crossing the road where you see cars speeding and then people will just charge across the road with all, I'm like, they're really out here with no fear. But that's it. Fears come back. And it's bullets. But then it says, what was it? Let me get this.
Yeah, man. Like, I've heard it a couple times, man. Different media out, different people out there check out. They're actually being, they're really having to face their mortality. And understand it's the damn. Hey, well, I mean, you know what? Pride of life is allow people to look by it and wait. Remember, that's like, I mean, hey, from them, man, when you see people get pumped up over stupidness, different things happen, accidents and whatnot, and people never thought about the consequences back then. They just thought about, it's gonna go good. Hell no, right? A lot of people are fucking tired not even tired. Tired ain't the best word. A lot of people, they're dealing with the consequences of all this shit they did in their 20s or the teenage years. They're having to live with the repercussions of it at this point in time. Right?
Matthew 10:28, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. You meant to, like, people are fearing Esau because of what he's able to do on the carnal side. Meanwhile, it's like after you pass, the judgment that comes after is going to be more terrible than anything, man. You know, you get born with no legs. That's gonna that's worse than anything Esau can do. Esau can chop your legs off. I'm like, bro, if you come out unable to talk and walk in the first place, like that's hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are trying to get euthanized, man.
When you read this, it's Psalms 68:20. He that is our power is the power of salvation, and unto Yahweh the Lord belongs the issue from death. So the Lord has that power, man. Hey, I shall read that as well. Deuteronomy. The Lord, yes, 1 Samuel 2. Okay, 1 Samuel 2:2 it says, there is none holy as the Lord Yahweh, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our power. Talk no more so exceeding proudly, let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Lord Yahweh is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Right? The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girded with strength. They that were full have hired out themselves with bread, and they that were hungry cease. Man, this is heavy, because these are all things that pertain to us, Lord willing, that we be of the elect, right? Because all these people that had life, everything in their favor, is being taken away from them. Because they took the purse that Esau threw into their hand. And they had the abundance of food, the pride of life, right? But guess what? Us that have gone for so long without, everything's going to go in our favor, right? Just think of Job, the 5th chapter, where it speaks of in 7 evils, 6 evils shall come near thy dwelling, and in 7 shall you be delivered. It's paraphrasing. And it talks about the famine and different things and how it won't touch us, right? So it says, reading on, it says, verse 6, and it's been a point, the Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive, and bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord Yahweh maketh poor and maketh rich, and bringeth low and lifteth up. He raises up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill to set them among the princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. The pillars of the earth are the Lord's, Yahweh's, and he hath set the world upon them. Verse 9, he will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. Right? That's why I tell you, Jeremiah the man talks about don't let no man glory in his might, let no man glory in his riches, but glory in the fact that he knows the Most High power, because he's the one that's in control of everything. All right.
Back in Sirach 2, so Sirach 2:2, it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Yeah, it's about holding on to. It's the same thing mentioned in Revelation 2. That which you have already, hold fast till I come. You've received it. When the Lord's given you the gift of faith and the ability to receive the word. Hey, all you got to do is hold on to it, man. Cleave on to it.
And the armor armor, and the weapons of warfare as well. Your shield, your buckler, your sword, right, your helmet. He gave you all of that. That's what he's saying you should keep hold of, right? Don't be like, you know what, this don't move, but let me sell it, or let me just leave it alone and go out into the world. What are you saying?
You need to turn it from the plow. And if you go back into the world, you're already at birth, you're already marked. It says like a guy, when you come in, demons come off you.
One demon comes off you.
And it's like when you leave, that guy brings his boys.
7 demons. So come back with 8, it'll be 1 plus 7. So that one demon that had you in the world, doing all manner of wickedness, bringing his wares onto you is going to do a hell of a
Completely out there.
Yeah, man.
That's it. Hey, that's how the Lord gets down. It's like afterwards, you ain't gonna be able to come back because why? It's like Yahushua would have to go up on the cross again. You basically put the sacrifice in open shame. So as such, that's why it's like, yo, this is holding firm, man.
Revelation, the 2nd chapter goes into it. Let me read that. That which you have already hold fast. It says Revelation 2:25, but that which you have already hold fast till I come. Hold fast. You say take it quickly? No, it's speaking as in fasten your seatbelt. When you fasten your seatbelt, you hold it's locking you in position. So what his word is saying to you, whatever you have already, this one you have already, lock in, right? It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nation. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father, and I will give him the morning star. He that hath ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple, man. You just gotta hold on to that word, man. You gotta endure. You gotta persist. You gotta be instant, in season, out of season. You got to be doing your diligence, putting your videos out. You basically just got to be a fruitful servant, fervent for the truth.
If you can't be used, you're useless. So you got to be useful.
Yeah, you got to flip the money you've been given.
Whatever you're, and that's the money you've been given is your talent. So wherever you have to really sit down, that's part of counting the cost. I feel like I'm in a river with this whole money double entendres. So you have to count the cost. So when you take the talent, you look at your talent, you say, this is what I've been given. What can I do with this talent? I know I'm good at this, I'm good at that. So let me utilize these talents and basically bring in some interest on it, make some profit of it. So that's what the Lord has basically told you to do, right? Go out there and make a profit of it. So that when he comes back and he demands his money, usury, he can basically say, hey Lord, this is what I have. And then he can say to you, thou faithful servant. You've been given little, so you can do what you want.
We read on in Sirach. So Sirach 2 and 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And that's, hey, we're in the midst of it. What's going to intensify, man? The heat is going to be turned up. Like I said, gold is tried in the fire. This is a purifying process for those of the elect. Those that have the gold within them, it's basically going to, all the impurities are going to be sloughed off to where it will be revealed. But then the opposite is those that are chaff, those where it's just all they're filled with is grease on the inside, they're just going to be burnt and they're just going to be fueled.
Yeah, it says that, I don't know if you quoted it, but the first 6 chapter, where it talks about every man's sacrifice shall be put to the flame. So it's what it says, that a man should be mindful when he offers a sacrifice. It says, it speaks about precious stones, and gold and silver, and thoroughly earth is for. So he's going to put flame is going to be fun. He's going to put your fuel to the fire, so to speak. So in order for you to be able to endure, you've got to be built that precious gold and silver.
To believe in him, and he will help thee order thy right way, trust in him. And hey, it's part of trusting him as well. It's not taking that charagma, it's not dealing with that match. That's why these things are, that's all part of putting your trust in Esau, man. That's part of you making that choice where it's like, yo, it's you taking that blue pill and riding out for whatever Esau desires, man. Because that's really what it is. Because as far as all, like, what's being boarded off behind taking that is all the pride of life, man, all the enjoyment, all the bliss. Which, if you're in the spirit, you know, now's not the time of. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. And yeah, for those that fear the Lord, because the fear of the Lord, that's the beginning of wisdom. That's where it all starts. That's the baseline of where you got to begin. That's the starting point. Fear of the Lord. And that's something that's lacking in the world. As far as it's like for you to want to partake in the world, if you're in the spirit and fearing the Lord, you're going to be hurt by everything that's going on out there. All the complete mess, confusion. That's not going to be satisfying. Even what you're so-called meant to be gaining by engaging with this world, dealing with women, even making money, getting certain levels of fame, all these things, it really don't mean, it don't carry any kind of weight. It's not going to do you any good in the long term. A lot of these people, they might have fame for a season, then afterwards they're done out. They might be flossing, drowning money for a little while. Then you find out these guys are in debt. These guys have to try and rejuvenate their fucking careers to try and make a buck, because they're all kinds of fucked up, man. It's funny because even like Johnny Depp, like that guy was in the Pirates of the Caribbean, made a killing, like in like what, 3, 4, maybe 5 movies. I can't remember how many they did. It was after the first 3, the guy was in so much fucking debt. There was like he had to take pretty much any job that was thrown at him. And that's what happens to a lot of these guys.
fucking getting debt.
Bro, he was spending like 600 grand a month or something like that. He was spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars just on that monthly expenses. So it's like, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like once you adjust that lifestyle, especially if you got a woman, she ain't looking to go back to to poverty living. But that's what these are all the things now. These things are issues.
You chose the wrong one as well. I've not heard.
She annihilated his life.
Yeah.
Annihilated his life.
I got a good piece. 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of his Father is not in him. Oh, come on. Yeah, verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. And I was meditating on this earlier. Esau has, a great understanding of this world and how it works. And that's really because he's working on the left-hand side. Like we have the understanding of the spiritual things, right? That which has been bestowed onto us. Esau has a supreme understanding of everything that pertains to this life. Alright? And that's why you go into certain sciences and doing certain things and it actually works. But that's because it works within this paradigm of life, man. Within this the world basically, because it's of the world. You do certain things, yeah, you're gonna prosper, you're gonna get a return from it, but it's according to that of this world, right? So you're gonna be judged accordingly for doing so as well.
Isaiah 65:21, it says, and they shall build. Okay, I'm ready. says, and they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit, they shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of the tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Most High, and they and their offspring with them. Yeah, so as far as it's going to be in the kingdom, when we're going to be able to plant and enjoy, what we're planting, or build up and then enjoy what we're building up. Because as far as for now, it's like this whole system is what? It's debt-based, and everyone's on that slave level, man. Jacob on that slave level, but Esau's put his own people at that slave level too. Because everything you do, you're working, you're striving, you're building up something for someone else. Like, if you're making money, you're working in any kind of company, you're making money for someone else. Even if you take, say you start a business, you're going to need to get loans, you're going to need to get certain things, or deal with certain government contracts. But then regardless, you'll be paying tax. And it's like, whose face is on the money? That's what Yahweh trying to say. Whose face is on the money? Render unto Caesar what's Caesar's, man. As far as for now, it's like this ain't the place for us to thrive. Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it was polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sword of destruction. Arise ye and depart. Our mindset is meant to be getting completely out of this place. Because as far as like you talk to people in the world, that's why it's like, man, you go on social media, see people in the world around the world. Everyone's all getting with their families. They're all together. They're all basically around the Christmas tree, around the presents, with their little Christmas jumpers on, smiling for the camera, playing the happy family men, for their woman. That's why that's the whole spirit of the world. That's what you're meant to be departing from. Because as far as if in the present time, if you got time to be doing that, that means you can't see what we're in the midst of, man. What's being shown clearly, man. You check the news, it's like in Europe especially, it's basically moving towards where it's like, if you ain't got the max, you ain't able to do certain things, man. Certain parts of Germany was like, yo, even to go shopping, like, they ain't even let you do that. And that's, hey, it's all building on that system. Because even now, it's like, from the pandemic started, there was a few businesses that started just about delivering groceries, like basically just providing groceries to the house. So they might even just be like, okay, look, you're going to make it so you can't even leave the house. You're basically just going to be stuck indoors. That little one day exercise or whatever, it's going to be fruit. They're just going to say, look, you're going to have shit delivered to you unless you get down, because it's too much of a risk. There's too much danger associated with it.
You got more?
No.
It's the book of Hebrews 11:13. These who died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. They weren't of the world. But they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country, and truly, if they had been mindful of the country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is in heavenly, whereof the Most High is not ashamed to be called their Father, their power, sorry. For he hath prepared them a city, alright? And that city being Jerusalem, right? Which starts off with a people before it's a place. And that's why the Lord said the kingdom of heaven coming from not observation, low here, low there, but the kingdom of heaven is within thee, alright? Because Where is the kingdom going to come from? It's going to come from the children, the elect of the nation of Israel, 1/3 of the nation of Israel, coming down from heaven. It tells you that in Revelation, the 14th chapter. When John spoke on it, he said, I saw New Jerusalem coming down, the kingdom of heaven, the city coming down from heaven, right? And that's what we're seeking unto. We're waiting for the Lord to make his return and to deliver us out of this hellhole, and basically for us to come down and establish our kingdom upon the earth. Alright? That's what we're being mindful of. We understand in the world, there's nothing in this world that pertains unto us. Right? This ain't our rest. It's right? Gradually depart. And that's the change of mind. We have the power of departing. We're taking our mind out of the worldly classics that we were once tied to, and basically looking onto spiritual things. And that's what we wait upon. That's why we're, through spirit and power, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Harakah, Dash. Hey, we come out here week out and week in, we do our videos, we do what we got to do. And
Yeah,
faith,
up,
we
up,
do our
on,
research.
up until when that's going to be done away with.
That's it.
Because as well, you're going to have the famine of the word. There's going to come the point in time, even now, the way YouTube's dealing with the videos, dealing with the different channels, bro, it's like some video you don't even say anything, and they'll just be like, no, just bang, it's done. I had, bro, it was like videos are up, like once there was a policy change, the most recent policy change. After that, one of my channels, like one of the older videos, like 2 of the older videos just got strikes. I was like 3-month-old videos. I was like, this is ridiculous, man. It's like, what, like, no matter, because Esau can just change the game at any point and add extra rules and be like, oh, even though you weren't breaking the rules then, like now you're breaking the rules, so I'm just gonna take your channel. And that's why, it's because they're just trying to bring an end to the word coming out. That's why, man, the Lord, the apostle basically put the order out to be like, yo, Odyssey. And it's like, that would run, but then it's like,
We're going to push the word until we can't push the word no more.
Because as far as the point's going to come where all of these are just going to get cut. And you can see them moving towards it. Hebrews 8, verse 6 says, but now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. And that's what happened as well. The first covenant, the fault was with Jacob, Jacob unable to keep it.
Being in the flesh.
Yeah, and that's why it's like, hey, things transpired how they transpired, to where it's Yahushua had to go up on the cross, bear the sins of mainly the elect and the whole nation as well. After to then give a pathway, the route to get into the kingdom, and that's where everything's gonna be perfected. And that's why as well, these are things we desire to see, man. Because having, like now, in this current time, where you can see a creature, an existence like Lil Nas X should not be able to exist, man. That shit is irksome as fuck, grating upon the spirit, man. Seeing Jake in a destroyed, bugged out state, man. Seeing Jake in a suit and tie, clean shaven, trying to get some love from Esau. But we were really like, yeah, you're hilarious. I'm like, bro, is that a Jake, man? I'm like, bro, come on, man. I was like, you're all kinds of destroyed.
And that's really because we discontinued from our heritage. And these laws, statutes, and commandments, rules designed by the Heavenly Father to be Zion, man. The monument unto the Heavenly Father on earth. Now, being that, there's only one way we can be according to His word. That's why I told you in the Book of Romans that, when basically Jake moves from the way of understanding, that they have a figure of godliness, but not according to the deal with the Most High, but not according to knowledge. According to not in accordance with the scriptures. Because why? That's saying even though we're hollow of what we once, even though we're hollow of what we once were, we still have a desire, a longing to be what we are, what we're meant to be. So when Jacob tried out the way to do the things that Esau knew with his other nations, basically, that leads you to a Christian holy. That basically that puts him down a dark road. This is the book of Lamentations, 4:1. So it reads, how is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthly pictures? And that's even similar. Well, we got into that yesterday or on Friday with Esau, with the statue, with the golden head of Nebuchadnezzar, and that his kingdom now is gone from steel to what? Miry clay mixed with iron. Yeah. Alright? And that's the same thing with Jake. Jake wants to know the gold, right? The most precious metal on the earth. An element that you find in the heavens. A fine element you find in the heavens being translated over here. And it even shows you something as well. Like our spiritual, who we are in the spirit, in the heavens, the Lord's going to establish you on earth. That's part of the Lord's Prayer. And that's we're comparable to gold, right? When you it speaks of it in Isaiah 13th chapter, it speaks of it already in the 2nd chapter, and it speaks of it in the heavens, right? About the gold, right? How esteemed it is upon the head of the Heavenly Father, and having a 24 elder that passed the crown before the Heavenly Father. But that's something that's in the spiritual realm that's being translated and established in this place. Right? So we'll compare to that. So reading on it says, verse 2, it says, the precious sons of Zion comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed in the earthly picture? We fell from our glory. The work of his hands of the poor, even the sea monsters draw out the breast, they give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people has become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness.
You have to, it's kind of wild. Like that's a falling off, man. You got some vicious beasts. They're still gonna give succor and care to the young. But then it's that, hey, that's the state the Israelite woman's in today. That all that motherly instinct, that's all been cut off, man.
Yeah, they're brute beasts, man. They're manly as fuck, man. And it says the ostriches, because the ostriches have no awareness of they'll step on their eggs, they're young. That's a trait that's been instilled in them. And that's how the daughters of Israel being compared to this time that we live in. Right? So we read on a little bit more. It says, verse 4, the tongue of the sucking child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth first. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They have brought up the scarlet. They that will brought up the scarlet embrace dunghill. For the punishment of the iniquity of the door of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom. That was overthrown at the moment. No hand stayed on her. And Nazarites were purer than snow, they were whiter than milk. They were more rugged in body than rubies. They polished was of sapphire. Their visage was blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets, but still bleeding and known to the river come like a stick. That's the point. We fell from our grace, man. We ain't nothing compared to that we once were.
Back in Hebrews 8, says verse 7, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. That's another thing. Is in this modern time, all the things that are mentioned in Romans 9, they're basically they're for Israel, man. They're all for Israel. That's something that's completely forgotten. Israel's the one who are going to inherit the kingdom. Israel's the one who are going to be perfected and raised up. They're the ones who are going to rule. Now you've got all kinds of wacky madness. You've even got Israelites teaching Esau's going to make it, which is completely off. Nowhere in the scriptures does it say like, yo, Esau knows himself. He ain't gonna. He's got it recorded in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. He already knew. There's no hope attached to that name. That's why he cast it off. He shed it, and like a snake sheds its skin and slithered away into some other identity. It says what? We'll make a new covenant. It says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So that covenant, it existed for a while, but it was done away with. Hosea says it was like they became a no people. Jake was a nobody, and that's the thing is that state, that degraded state, is continued, until the Lord basically had it said, what, I'll send Elijah before the coming of the great and terrible day. The Lord had sent Elijah, Elder Abba, man, and then sent multiple of the prophets again, to raise up, bring back the truth, bring it back, man, to build back up that house for the sake of what? Of the perfecting, man, which is in this time, for the sake of all the things that need to go down in the end. That's what we're in the midst of. And that's why it's like, what it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is something which can't be, right now, visibly, you can't see the kingdom of heaven on the wall. You see it being built. You see it being built within all the camps around the world teaching this truth. But as far as you can't be seen on the earth just yet. That's something you have to basically have the vision, man. Have the foresight to see coming about. And that's something that for now, the foresight see it coming, because for now most people in the world, they're still seeing Esau ruling forever, man. I was watching one guy on YouTube, and he said he set a video to auto post on Christmas every day for the next 10 years. I was like, God, people really be out here they're thinking even YouTube's gonna be around in 10 years, thinking this place is gonna be around in 10 years. I'm like, bro, like this shit, this for the elites, this whole way of running things now, they're doing away with it, man. Yeah. I'm like, the whole YouTuber, if it was to continue, and that's the thing, it says what? If the days weren't shortened, there'll be no flesh left to be saved.
Both sides doing away with it, and even Esau Edom himself is doing away with it.
Yeah, he's not looking to have it.
Yeah, it might basically being on the left-hand side of the Heavenly Father, man. That's what, with the video on it, Gary Noe, he had another two posts basically take over his show. He uploaded it. I believe Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. Basically, Jeff Poole is calling in. Now, they're asking him about the present state of affairs. He's saying, what do you think? And everyone kept saying the same thing. One Jake came on and said, we're witnessing the
I need to put her money with her.
He's saying, we're the last place. Like, this is ridiculous. Crap. But a lot of people are none the wiser because they got news to see. And a lot of people don't even know what news outlets to really go to, or what information they need to really delve into for them to get a good understanding of the climate, what temperature we're at in the world. If they really understood, a lot of people that be preppers and whatnot, they'll be trying to move to a place out the way of everything. An island.
Trying to get a bunker.
Yeah,
they'll basically
bunker, move to an island out of the way, neutral. No one's thinking about bombing or nothing. Like that's what they'll be on. They don't know that the way the world is right now, we're on the cusp of World War III. Right, financial
collapse.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is
Shortages.
it's already done.
Yeah.
Like with a lot of these, even the food shortage, like the famines. That's something that what's it called? You've already had it in the news. There's been hella harvests where they weren't able to get the full harvest. A lot of things like China's been stockpiling a shitload of grains as well. There's a bunch of different. I think they said like for this like last year, 2021, like 60% of what you call it, of the grain that was sold that year, China bought. So it's like, I mean, bought, as in, like the first day, not even they made it, just the general, the whole thing, they bought up shitloads. So they're basically stockpiling it, and that's something as well, which, when war's on the cards, they want to be able to basically survive independently. And that's where the hardship's going to come. Because it's like if it comes down to like famines, they're basically going to prioritize what? Soldiers. They're going to prioritize people that keep the system running. The plebs on the bottom, they're going to be left. They're going to be starving. You watch any of these post-apocalyptic films, they'll have it where it's the guys at the top, they're eating well, they're doing well. But then what? Out the chaff, the nobodies, the guys on the edge, on the periphery, they're basically just going to be suffering.
See, the old school remember that was one of, not the $4, but $3, $5, $3 a decent book in this season. Yeah. But as you said, that even shows you the fashion of this world passed away. Like the Fiat Punto, remember when the Punto was like a whip to have, man? If you had a Fiat Punto, fucking hell, you was the man.
Fucking car. That shit's stunning, guys. They still around.
According to his name, man. But as you said it,
verse 10 says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts." And that's basically coming full circle to being perfected, where we'll be able to keep the law perfectly and then be judged righteously on the earth in perfection, man. Because that's something that's sorely lacking. But now on the earth, righteousness is nowhere to be found. People even in Esau's system that love Esau's system. That's why you have so many people out fucking protesting non-stop, man. People screaming about the environment, the law systems, being black in America. People screaming and complaining. People on their ease, man. Says when you have the righteous ruler, everyone's meant to be loving life off, man. That lets you know how completely unrighteous everything is, man. People are like, that's the joke is, this is the hilarity, is the whole like the last couple of month or so, you had the whole Tory Christmas party thing coming out where they're saying like, they call it Tory sleaze, where they said like, whilst people are being told to lock down, the Tories having garden parties. Boris Johnson was having a garden party. Him and his wife, they weren't socially isolated. Blah blah. That's because it's rules for D and not for me. That's basically how this shit runs. And hey, just having the reality of it slapped in their face, they got upset. But that's what Esau's not about righteousness, man.
At the same time as well, hey, that family part, they just did not. They don't want to hear the word. No one wants to hear the word. No one ain't stopping and really saying, "Yo, what are you about? Why are you talking about this?" Because the reality is that people want. Hey, you sang that song? Is it Tell Me Lies? That's the reality of life. Like a lot of people just want to be lied to. Man. They want to bury their head in the sand and hope there's no repercussions, nothing that's going on. But they don't understand that, listen, they're about that soft life. But they don't understand that, boy, time we're in, if you're soft, how's the quote go, man? Hard times make strong men make good times make weak men make hard times. So, hey, weak men have made hard times. That's the time we're in. The hard times only strong survive. A lot of people are too soft because of the good times that were of old. And they think that they're still in good times. They haven't actually noticed that there's been a transition. We've moved into a different time. That's why a lot of people say that the dystopian time is not the same. Yeah, because you can't go out and party no more. Hey, only the strong survive right now.
All that bliss is done away with. Right?
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. That's the reality. You cannot be afford to be ignorant no more. But guess what? If you want to be ignorant, be ignorant.
You're going to get caught in the meat grinder. Isaiah 30:9.
Be that ignorant, let him be ignorant still. Yeah?
That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord Yahweh, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. They want them smooth things, man. That's all, and that's why it's like people engage with a certain kind of news cycle, because all they want to hear is nothing but good things, man. Well, it's like now people have got social media. They've got a relationship with that, basically hearing about what do you call it? How the C19 is the worst thing to ever happen to the human race on the face of the planet Earth, man. That's something that people will be watching. Like, oh my God, oh wow, why can't? Oh, if only people, because it's feeding into that fear into their mind, man. And it's like people have been calibrated to like fear's not been a thing they acknowledge. But it's like that's why now they're just all they want to hear is the smooth things, man. They just want to hear the sweet lives. They want to hear there's hope. That's why it's like going into 2022, people are kind of making light of, yo, it's still gonna be a shit, yeah. But that's because why they're really hoping that they can bring about the opposite. But hey, that's not how it's gonna run. The shit's done, man.
He said at the end of 2020 or 2021,
based off nothing. Based off nothing. Man is speaking out of his fucking past, right? Saying, oh, it's gonna get better.
Well, because the year changed, all of a sudden everything's gone away.
Yeah, all the problems, and that's the thing. It's all these, the whole crumbling of society is the build-up of all the issues that arose in it.
It's the neglect of the compounding, as you said already. All the shit that's going wrong in this world. Right? They're neglecting it. They're looking, you're saying someone else is going to sort it out. Nah, nigga, you're going to have to deal with everything.
And what needs to get done as well, if like it says, what, they would have, well, read it in fact, they would have saved Babylon, but Babylon's not saved.
Well, that's just read before that, because I had, you said it was about smooth things. That's why I told you in the Book of Psalms that the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, and the words of his mouth were softer than oil. Because that's why Jacob a love affair of Esau, man. Because Esau knows how to lie to them, man. Hey, Jacob really understood the spirit. He was like the leading hierarchy in the society for Jake, man. Jake do everything according to what he desires. So they're following under this, going back to the Willie Lynch, man. So all of them lies, you're gonna be the end of those lies and have to deal with the consequences.
Read this. Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of. Oh, actually, let me start from 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon. Well, it says what? Take balm for her. If so be, she may be healed. That's really what everyone's trying to do. Everyone's trying to keep this war alive, man. Keep it going. Even with, because why? Everyone, the way the world runs now, which everyone's enjoying, everyone's indulging in, that's, the core of it is what? It's America, man. That's core. It says what? Take balm for her pain, so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Yeah, you can't heal Babylon, man.
Yeah, this ain't the time, and this ain't going, but don't read Revelation 13 and 15. Oh yeah, but Babylon was built, Greece was built before. Now it's built in precept with Revelation 20, man. The little Caesar, that deadly wound was healed basically for a time, just for this time, man. Just for the great judgment, time at the end. For really only what it's for is for the Lord to deliver the children of Israel out of this captivity, man. For him to make his appearance upon this earth. And that's the reason why all this shit is happening, man.
We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. It's going to be forsaken, man. No one's going to be looking to deal with it. It's now, people are still high off the fumes, man. They're still thinking there's a dream that exists. But it's going to be made evidently clear, it's done. There's good examples with the Brexit. I'm like, man, there was an article, I think it was on the Telegraph, where it said like, as far as for Boris Johnson saying, oh, all the good that came out of Brexit this year so far, and a man said like, that they'd managed to put the crown back on pints, and they'd stop weighing certain things in pounds and ounces. I was like, Nick, I was like, shut the fuck up, man. About all the goods that came, I'm like, bro, this shit's done, man. It's played out. That whole spirit is come off this place, man. Britain is really one of the most prideful nations of Esau, man. Everyone here is high off basically thinking. It's funny, I can't remember what I was thinking about, like everyone is the way they're kind of dealing with this whole pandemic is because they have that spirit of entitlement on them. They think they're owed something. That's really why they're taking certain actions. The people that are down with Esau's system, they're just saying, look, just comply so we can get back to all those good things that I want to enjoy. And other people are saying like, yo, these are my rights, like I should be able to do what I should be able to do. Like, why are you affecting it, man?
Which in reality, the latter are actually why the too. Because, hey, it's your life, man. If you want to jump off a building, that's your problem.
Yeah. It says like, yeah, it says, when what you're going to do, you just remember, there's things that judgment associated.
Yeah. Like, that's it. Like, that's why people, key example is smoking. That by law now they have to put on a warning to say smoking kills, right? But people still buy cigarettes and why are they not stopping people from, there's a lot of death coming out from this second-hand smoke, different things of that nature. They still allow them to do it, right?
That's funny. On the way here, I don't know why, this is the weirdest. There was a fucking Jake smoking a cigarette on the platform. And then you just got going down the escalators to the underground. This nigga was still smoking. I was like, what? I was like, bro, you alright? Like, you trying to suffocate? Bro, I had to get ahead of it. I was like, I'm not getting on the same train as this guy. This guy's gonna be smoking on the train. I was like, what? I was like, this guy's bugged out, man. It was a Jake as well. I was like, it would be a Jake.
Yeah. But and that's the point. The point is, with this thing that's going on right now, hey, it's part of the breaking down of society. It's all the things that's about community, all the prophecies in the Bible. Main one being that corrupt one spoke of in Revelation 13th chapter. That's what a lot of people are none the wiser to, right? And they ain't gonna know, hey, until the destruction comes. Even when it comes, they're gonna, in their mind, they're gonna justify it and say, you know what, it makes sense. Because really they're gonna be deceived by the deception of the devil. And it's the same thing. In their mind, they're gonna say, well, I wanna go on holiday. I wanna do all the things I was doing before. I wanna go and do this, I wanna go and do that. Not knowing that this is the time where it's all or nothing. But they ain't, on the other side of whatever you do, it's not going to end the way you believe.
It says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Judgments, it's going to be grand. It's going to be spectacular. And that's what that's the thing is this is something you're playing with. If you're basically thinking like, you're just gonna, I'm just gonna, like I ain't gonna take the Quran, but I'm just gonna take it because, I just want to do certain things and da-da. It's like, it's not, bruv, all that, bruv, that shows your mindset, man. Your mind's in this world, man. It's in this place. That's how you're gonna get, bruv. Man that take it now, take the juice, then, bruv, they're gonna take the Quran, man. Back in Hebrews 8, I'll read verse 10. It says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people." So that's what the laws basically being in the mind is. Then Jake's not going to have the capacity to go off anymore, man. And that's something as well that's fervently desired, man. We want to see manifested on the earth. One took to rashly judge all this madness that's going on. Right now, the world is irksome, man. The way everything's being dealt with, every facet of society, it's a complete mess, man. Everything's complete confusion. The whole monetary system's confusion. The way you live your life, trying to build a house, confusion. Everything's a mess. There's no satisfaction to be found. Looking at, seeing your brother and seeing him in a completely destroyed state, man. You tell these guys about the truth, these guys are thinking about, they're looking to go on holiday, they're looking to live their life, they're thinking about, oh, well, me and my woman are looking to do X, Y, Z. All these things, I'm like, bruh, now is not the time, man. It says what? Time is short, let they that have wives be as though they have none, man. Now is not the time when you're meant to be looking to please and supplicate the woman. Looking to do so, that's all these things, and then you're going to get caught in a web. And that's the thing, it's the same thing that happened back when Jerusalem got put on smash, man, 70 AD. It was like, what? Pray not that your flight be in the winter. It's like, yo, flee you to the mountains. It was a time where, hey, it was, if you were thinking like, oh, no, let me just try and reason with these, bro, you would have been starving, eating your kid, man. Because why? It's a time where judgment's coming about, man. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And it's going to be that time of trouble, man. That trouble is going to be on a scale and level to where it's going to be like, yo, never before seen. People are not even going to be able to recognize, yo, this is like, yo, this is going down. And that's as cold as it's going to get. People, and that's why it's like, there's people where it's like, they might come from, like Eastern Europe's a place where it's like, they might come from certain war-torn countries. They might have come up, like grown up in the 90s, where you would have seen like hella warfare happening. They might have been in certain countries where it's like they've been a coup, where they've just seen people getting fucked up. There's all like, they might have some acquaintance with how raw it gets when judgment comes down. But by and large, a lot of people who grew up in the West, they ain't seen shit. You might have 1-2 soldiers who've gone to Iraq, gone to Afghanistan, and even then, that's not as fucked up as it gets. It's like them men that have just been getting airstruck, where the house has been blown out. They might have had their 5-year-old son get blown up.
Well, the thing is, like, we get their head blown up.
Yeah, get their head topped.
To see how quickly someone could be there talking with you, then someone turns up, boom, blown away. That guy don't exist no more. You should be sitting there like that, and then it comes to a point where you become numb. And this is the thing, it says the Lord is going to bring forth his judgment. Let me get out of Jeremiah 16. Because in these days that we're in, the Lord is going to manifest. Hey, it tells you that the blood shall go up to the horse's bridle. There's going to be a great amount of blood in the streets. Right? And then when the Lord comes, what does it tell you as well? It tells you that the Lord is going to have, it's going to look like a treader in a wine cellar. Alright? So we're in a time of great judgment, time like never before. So there's the book of Jeremiah 16, and I'll start from verse 1. The word of the Lord Yahweh came also unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. Reiterating the sentiment of Paul in the book of Corinthians, the she who that from where? It's the same thing in the book of Sirach, 16th chapter. But basically not desiring that of the world. Right? Verse 3 says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, concerning their mothers that bear them, concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried. But they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. We got a hint of that dealing with Boris Johnson. What did he say? He said that, oh, they're going to turn Hyde Park in. That's a possible contingent. They'll turn Hyde Park into an open cemetery. Right?
So that's like the bodies piled high.
That's the kind of things that are going on in the background. Right? No one's aware of. No one wants to think about it.
Yeah, people
These are things that are being spoken of in these chief councils. And this is what they're prepared to do. And that's letting you know what form of, what time we're in. Right? Time of judgment. The Bible's been telling you. We've been telling you this, headed by the apostles for years upon years, decades. Right? And the men before them, the same thing. So it says verse 4, I read again, it says, they shall die of grievous deaths, they shall not be lamented. No one's going to cry for them. No one's going to have a moment to say, you know what, let's have a moment of silence. Hey, Ben, they like to do the 9 nights. You know, when they basically gather for 9 nights. You know, think upon that person that died. There ain't going to be none of that. Right? Neither shall they be buried. Right? They shall be dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword. Oh, an article came out that said over in New York, I can't remember what place it was specifically. They basically said they had the dead bodies from this current thing that's going on. They had them stacked up, body bags, with blood leaking out of them, and they're decomposing in the sun, right? Open, you know, the ground. This is what's going on presently right now. And it's going to magnify and continue to present itself upon the earth. It says, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine. And their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of the heaven, for the beasts of the earth. Right? So this he goes on to say, verse 5. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament nor bemoaning, for I have taken away my peace from this people, saith the Lord Yahweh, even loving kindness and mercy. So their people will judge the judgment of their Heavenly Father. And these, the gates of mercy are actually still open, right? Remember it says, the word of their Heavenly Father should provide to the four corners of the earth, then shall the end come. And that's why the angel was told, the four angels told back the destruction, saying, destroy not earth, burn not earth, nor the sea, until the servants of the Most High are sealed in their forehead. But once they're sealed, guess what? The four angels are going to let go, and the destruction is going to be unleashed upon earth. This is what we're in the midst of right now. So while the gates of mercy are still open, this is the time for you to get with it, man, and get the word.
Yeah, there's
But it's only for the elect.
there's an interview with what's his name, the guy Alfred Hitchcock, where he talks about tension in a movie. And he said you can have one scene where you just film a bunch of people playing poker on a table, and then he said you can have another scene where it's like show them playing poker on the table, then you cut to under the table and show there's a bomb there, and then switch back to them playing poker, and there's a whole different level of tension in the scene. That's the same thing. When you have it in your mind, hey, the winds are being held back. You imagine like, time's short. There's a sense of urgency to this. You're gonna have a whole different mindset in your approach. Let me read this and then we'll close. Just finished Daniel 12:1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, really the elect, thy people. Everyone, that's true, in Israel the Most High. Every one that shall be found written in the book. Yeah, it's great. So that means that everyone else in the world, they're going to be bystanders?
Collateral damage.
No, it's not the word I was thinking of. Civilians or watchers or something. Witnesses or something like that. That's not the word.
I can't think of what
Bystanders kind of works. They're just going to be in whatever happens. They're just going to be caught on the floor.
like extras in a movie, basically.
Yeah. But hey, it's going to be cold, man. Yeah. End it there. Say all praises to
Yeah,
Yahweh,
how Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Harakah, Kadash, double one is the apostles,
Shalom.
man.
Shalom.
Shalom.